Have you ever wondered why some U.S. states seem to have it all while others are constantly struggling? Why is it that living in California feels worlds apart from living in Mississippi in terms of wealth and opportunity? The answer isn't simple. It's a complex puzzle involving taxes, natural resources, politics, weather, and even the people who live there. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating and often surprising reasons behind the massive wealth gap among American states. Is Cheeky around because what you learn might just change how you see the map of America? Let's start with the big one. Taxes. You've probably heard people complain about high taxes in states like New York or California. These states often have high income taxes, property taxes, and sales taxes. The idea is that this revenue funds better public services like schools, infrastructure, and social programs, which can create a more skilled workforce and a better quality of life, attracting high-earning professionals and businesses. For example, states with strong public university systems often become hubs for innovation and well-paying jobs. Think about Silicon Valley in California, or the Research Triangle in North Carolina. However, there's a flip side. States with low or no income tax, like Texas, Florida, and Nevada, are becoming magnets for both individuals and corporations looking to keep more of their money. The argument here is that lower taxes stimulate economic growth by leaving more capital in the hands of the private sector to invest, expand, and create jobs. In recent years, we've seen a major exodus of companies and wealthy individuals from high-tax states to these more tax-friendly environments. So, it's a constant tug-of-war. Do high taxes create wealth through public investment? Or do low taxes create wealth by encouraging private enterprise? The answer isn't clear-cut, and it's a key factor in why some states pull ahead of others. Next up, let's talk about what's under the ground. Natural resources. This is one of the oldest stories of wealth creation. States that are rich in oil, natural gas, coal, or valuable minerals have historically had a huge economic advantage. Think of Texas and North Dakota with their massive oil booms. These resources generate immense revenue, not just for the companies extracting them, but also for the state through taxes and royalties. This money can then be used to fund public projects, lower other taxes, or even be paid out directly to residents, like the Alaska Permanent Fund, which distributes oil revenues to its citizens every year. This natural resource wealth creates high-paying jobs in extraction, refining, and transportation, and supports a whole ecosystem of secondary businesses. However, relying too heavily on natural resources can be a double-edged sword. It can lead to a resource curse, where the economy becomes volatile and dependent on fluctuating global commodity prices. When oil prices crash, so do the economies of these states, leading to widespread job losses. Furthermore, these industries can sometimes crowd out other forms of economic development, making it harder to diversify. So while a lucky few states strike it rich with resources, it's a risky path to long-term, stable prosperity. Now let's get into the messy but crucial topic of politics. The political landscape of a state government has a profound impact on its economic destiny. The policies enacted by state legislatures and governors can either foster or hinder economic growth. For instance, states that invest heavily in education, from pre-K all the way through university, tend to produce a more skilled and adaptable workforce. This attracts high-tech and high-wage industries that need educated employees. Massachusetts, with its world-class universities, is a prime example of how an emphasis on education can create a thriving knowledge-based economy. On the other hand, a state's approach to regulation and business friendliness is a huge factor. Some states streamline the process for starting a business, offer tax incentives, and have fewer regulations, which can attract entrepreneurs and investment. Other states prioritize worker protections and environmental regulations, which might make it more expensive to do business but can lead to a higher quality of life and long-term sustainability. The political choices a state makes regarding minimum wage, right to work laws, infrastructure spending, and social safety nets all combine to create a unique economic environment that determines who prospers and who gets left behind. Believe it or not, the weather plays a bigger role than you might think. For centuries, agriculture was the primary driver of wealth, and that depended entirely on climate and geography. States in the Midwest, with their fertile soil and favorable growing seasons, became the nation's breadbasket. But today, climate affects wealth in new ways. States with sunny, pleasant weather, like Florida, Arizona, and California, attract retirees who bring their lifelong savings with them. This influx of wealth boosts the housing market, retail, and healthcare sectors. Good weather also fuels massive tourism industries. Think about the billions of dollars that flow into states with beautiful beaches, ski resorts, or national parks. This creates a huge number of jobs, although many of them can be seasonal and low-wage. On the flip side, states prone to extreme weather events like hurricanes, tornadoes, or wildfires face enormous economic challenges. The costs of rebuilding, higher insurance premiums, and disruptions to business can cripple a state's economy for years. As climate change intensifies these events, weather is becoming an increasingly important factor in the economic divergence between states. Finally, let's talk about the people to population itself. The demographics of a state are a powerful driver of its economic health. A young, growing, and well-educated population is a recipe for economic dynamism. These individuals are more likely to start businesses, innovate, and fill the high-skilled jobs of the future. This is why cities and states are competing so fiercely to attract and retain young talent. They offer vibrant city life, cultural amenities, and career opportunities to draw in the next generation of workers and taxpayers. Conversely, a state with an aging population and a brain drain, where its most educated residents leave for better opportunities elsewhere, faces significant headwinds. An older population means higher healthcare costs and a smaller tax base to support them. A lack of skilled workers can deter companies from investing, creating a vicious cycle of economic stagnation. The movement of people across the country, seeking better jobs, a lower cost of living, or a preferred lifestyle, is constantly reshaping the economic map. Where people choose to live is perhaps the ultimate vote of confidence in a state's economic future. So, as you can see, the wealth of a state is not determined by a single factor. It's a complex interplay of tax policies that can either attract or repel capital, the luck of having valuable natural resources, and the political will to manage them wisely. It's shaped by the climate, which can be a blessing for tourism and agriculture, or a curse of natural disasters. And most importantly, it's driven by the people their age, their education, and their decisions about where to build their lives. Understanding these forces helps explain why the American dream can look so different depending on which side of a state line you're standing on. It's a dynamic and ever-changing story of wealth, opportunity, and the ongoing competition for a brighter future. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this breakdown interesting, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the forces that shape our world. Let me know in the comments which factor you think is the most important for a state's wealth. See you in the next video.